Hi, my name is Zoe Pond, and I'm a sophomore history major from Monroe, Wisconsin. I chose to research The Moon is Down, a propaganda novel written by John Steinbeck during World War II. I chose to do so because I love Steinbeck's writing style, and I wanted to get a deeper understanding of his life. He's one of my favorite authors, and his work really got me into reading. I wanted to study one of his lesser-known works and learn the historical context. The Moon is Down follows a nondescript European-coded town occupied by a group referred to only as the enemy. The townspeople quietly resist the soldiers, who have their own personalities and motivations for being a part of the enemy. While not highly acclaimed as a literary work itself, the novel was, and still is, regarded as an incredible piece of propaganda. To appreciate Steinbeck's ability as an author to persuade and inspire, first we have to contextualize his life. After Grapes of Wrath was published, it was banned in many places, and Steinbeck himself was accused of being a communist. In spite of his own vilification, he felt it necessary to contribute to the war effort in some way. He wrote about the war and wrote propaganda for the government. His writing was nowhere near as good as he was accustomed to, but he felt he had to do what he could anyway. He traveled and spent time in combat zones with soldiers, and the violence left its mark on him. Steinbeck was so affected that he never released one of the books he wrote and seldom spoke of his experiences after the war. Its long-term effects would last for the rest of his life. He knew even then that the war had to end as quickly as possible. Not only did the war need to end so the violence could, but also so the future could begin. The world had been put on fearful hold, and no progress was being made. This was the goal of The Moon is Down. Make sure the right side wins, and that they do so as quickly as possible. In order for there to be hope in the future, people needed to return home. He wrote the novel, but his publisher initially refused to release it. After Steinbeck made the location nonspecific and called the villains the enemies instead of the Nazis, it was released in America. Unfortunately, it was terribly received. The American response to the novel was largely negative because he introduces the enemy soldiers and their lives outside of the war. People thought he humanized the enemy too much and didn't let the townspeople do enough. Steinbeck was destroyed by the American response, but as the novel made its way around the world to Europe, he received very different responses. In Europe, the novel was widely acclaimed. Resistances mimeographed and printed illegal copies to distribute in occupied countries. Those people understood exactly what was so impactful about citizens collectively resisting quietly. People living the experience understood the grand American idea of big gestures of resistance would only get them killed. The small acts of resistance within the novel, like the mayor's nonchalant response to his people's lack of compliance, were things that could inspire without getting them killed. Post-war, Steinbeck was awarded medals from several countries for The Moon is Down's effectiveness. It brought a lot of hope and motivation in a time where it was very scarce. Today, the novel is considered some of the most effective propaganda to come out of World War II.